Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to have my first investing portfolio review for 2 months, which was quite wild. But as some may know, I did take a break from investing, but I'm back. There's a video on that if you want to know why I stopped. But yeah, we're going to go over the last 2 months. A few things have changed. My portfolio has changed a lot. My strategy has changed a lot. Yeah, so there's quite a bit to go through today. But yeah, before we get started, please remember that anything said in this video is not financial advice, and you should do your own research before investing because your capital is at risk. So if we jump into my portfolio performance for the last 2 months, I'll do 1 month to 3 months. So over the last 3 months, I am up 5.5%. Over the last month, I am down 1.2%. However, if I recorded this video yesterday, I'd have been up for the month. But the markets took quite a bit of a dip tonight, so all my stocks are in the red, which I will show here, apart from NBIS. But yeah, it's been interesting. But for over the last year, or the max really, I am up 17.4% for the year still. So I'm quite happy with that. That's quite positive. If we move on to the stocks that I have sold, if you have watched me previously, I had a dividend pie that I was monitoring and managing every month. I have sold 11 out of 12 stocks in that pie. So the only stock I didn't sell was Novo, but it has took a massive nosedive. So Novo, I'm now down 16.5%. But I also still think that's a good investment that I want to keep averaging into. So I'm not going to sell Novo quite yet. But overall, I sold my dividend pie for £1.85 profit. Amazing, I know. That doesn't account for dividends. So when you include dividends received, that was a further £1.87. So in total, I was up 2.5% in profit. Now, I originally didn't want to sell any of those stocks for a loss. I sold 6 or 7 of them for a profit, some at a slight profit, some at a bigger profit, and I sold 3 or 4 at a loss. Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I've decided I would be waiting too long for a stock that I've got £12 in to reach green for me to sell it, and I thought the opportunity cost of waiting that long was too high than me just taking the minor loss on it to reinvest elsewhere. So I bought £30 worth of my JP Morgan Global Growth and Income Fund, which is JGGI, or 5.2 shares. I also have bought into the S&P 500 for the first ever time. So that is VUAG, VUAG. So that was 0.35 shares for £33. And then I have opened a position in a nuclear ETF, which I am going to make a separate video on. But I bought 0.41 shares for £15. And these ETF purchases come under my new strategy, which I will cover in the future. But that's just so you're aware. I also bought exactly 1 share of NBIS, or Nebius Group. Going forward, I'm going to try and buy more whole shares because my OCD is kicking in and I am sick of seeing 7.1549379 shares. Because, like, why? And then I had a little bit of change left over from those purchases, and I bought 0.11 of a share of Novo Nordisk for £4.82, which brought down my average a nice little bit. Not a lot, but a nice little bit. So those are my buys and sells since my last portfolio review. But if we take a look into the stock performance, this is my new ETFs pie. I forgot what it was called for a second there. So I hold 3 positions in here, which it's very unbalanced at the minute, but I'm just gonna continue investing more. So it is made up of 70% S&P 500, 15% JP Morgan Global Growth and Income. That might change, if I'm honest. This isn't fully refined, but this is what I'm going with for now. And then 15% of my new nuclear ETF. But like I say, there'll be a video coming on that because I think that's a nice little gem, if I'm honest. If we look at my other stocks, Gamma Communications is down 6% since I purchased. This is my largest holding of an individual stock value wise. I'm going to continue averaging into this when I can, if it's the right opportunity. If I see, because I am invested in limited capital a month, I'm not investing in every stock every month. I'm investing in the ones where I see the greatest opportunity. So this may be down 8% in the last month, but I might see more return coming from Marks and Spencers currently, so I might invest more in Marks and Spencers. You know what I mean? That's the sort of plan I've got going forward. My Grab shares, which are up 4.3% over the last 3 months, are now up 6.92% since I have invested. I do want to keep averaging into this, but yeah. Still waiting on the news of a merger. Financial performance still in line or what I was expecting, so still a good investment for me overall, which I do like. Next is Rolls-Royce. Over the last 3 months, they are down 24.5%. Over the last week, they're down 5%. So I'm up 49% since I invested, and I want to keep averaging up. I think it's actually getting quite cheap because it's been sitting around, as you can see up here, the £11 mark. So I may invest some more into that and bring my average up. I do love Rolls-Royce as a company, but I need to see, and they are signing lots more partnerships and contracts, but I'm still waiting to see if the tariffs are having any effect on them. I need to do a bit more research into that, if I am brutally honest. But yeah, Marks and Spencers down 5% over the last 3 months. I do anticipate this to drop further, especially when the interim results come out in November 5th. Got it in my calendar. But overall, I'm down 1.92%. I still see major growth for Marks and Spencers, so I will be buying more. One of my new purchases for the month is Nebius. Bought it last week. It's down 10% in a week. I must have bought it on, I feel like I bought it on Friday, and I'm recording this on Wednesday, but I'm down 3.5% overall. This is one for the future. This is one to continuously average into. So yeah, if I'm going to continue buying that, like I say, I'm buying in whole shares now, sort of. So I bought exactly 1 share, but like if I'm not going to buy a whole share, I'll buy in like a 0.25 or a 0.5. So it's easier to round it up when I want to. Another new purchase, which I didn't cover, silly me, is Bytes Technology Group. So I'm down 1%, but over the last month they're up 13%, even though they are down over the last year 18%. But it is a technology company. They deal mainly in services and reselling of software and hardware. The financials look strong. They also have a subsidiary called Phoenix Software, who are also a decent sized company, and I have worked with them in my professional career. But yeah, this is another new position that I will end up making a video on. But they are a company that I thought were sound financially, a solid investment with good growth potential. My next stock, which I have been meaning to invest more in since I originally bought in, which was January, February. So I've not bought in this for a while, just because I've seen better opportunities elsewhere. I'm up 21% when you take off the FX impact, and it is up 14% over the last few months. For the last year, it's up 54%. So I bought in here, really. So it's been really good performance. I still have good faith in the company. They're doing quite a lot to bring in more revenue, and you can just see that as a consumer. hasn't started to affect customers yet in terms of them actually moving away from the product that they're providing. But be interesting to see how much that continues to grow. But they do have a lot of debt, but that's because they've gone through a lot of mergers. And then the final stock that I'm invested in is Novo Nordisk, which is down 24%. Over the last 3 months, my position is down 16.5%. And they've had quite a few things go on in terms of partnering with HIMS, cutting that partnership with HIMS, Eli Lilly having a substitute approved or going through good trials, HIMS selling substitutes alongside selling Novo Nordisk's weight loss drug. So yeah, it's been and they've also, I believe, changing CEO, unless I've mixed this up with another stock I'm invested in. But yeah, it's been a rough few months for Novo Nordisk, but I expect it to climb back up to where it was, if I'm honest. Might take a year, might take a few months, could happen in a week. Healthcare is so volatile, you don't know. But I still like them in my portfolio, and like I say, the stock market has took a nosedive today. CPI, UK CPI data came in today. I don't know what else came in off the top of my head, but yeah, that's how the stocks are performing. And that is it for my portfolio. So I do apologise that it's been a while, but as you can see, or as you may know, I took some time away, focused on other parts of financial health, which is just as important, and I'm back. I've got quite a few things that I can make videos on, so expect them in the future, and I will be making videos on them, sorry. Let me know how you've done over the last 2 months, because it's been a while since I would have heard from anyone. What you've been buying, what have you been selling, what's your sentiment for the market overall, and leave a like if you have enjoyed, subscribe for more videos, especially investment content, because that is what this channel is, and I will see you in the next one.